How do you know if you're doing manifesting right? That's exactly what we're talking about today on the podcast. Special news. Previously it was called the Manifesting Guide, but now it's called Mindful Manifesting. So I can bring in more of my mindfulness tips so it makes manifesting easier for you. Now, before we get started, would you like to create future possibilities without force or frustration? You can get your free guide at highertrueself.com/freebies, and the link will be in the show notes. So we're going to be talking about Mindful Manifesting Success Roadmap today. This is Ariana Rollins, and this is episode 68. Now, there are certain indications, there are signs that you're on track, and I'm sure you know what I mean. If you're following the path of manifesting and you are aware of synchronicities and maybe you look for signs or you're just highly intuitive, then you know at an unconscious level or even conscious level, intuitive level, when you're on track and you know when you're not. But what happens if you have an experience and that causes you to stop trusting yourself? You start believing in the outside world more than you believe your intuition. I've gone through that, and boy, it was painful. It was, and I'll do a podcast especially on that. It was over 10 years of such an unusual kind of mind flipping experience where I went into it very confident, trusting myself, so sure of what intuitively would come through me. I trusted immediately, to wondering everything. So having a success roadmap can really help us, because it's like you're traveling and you want to know what are the road marks. Do I take this highway? Do I take this one? Where am I going to stop along the way? What should I expect? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to give you an overview, and then we're going to go into detail of each phase. So as I see it currently, because I'm always refining and changing and evolving the more that I learn and grow on this path of manifesting, is there are 5 phases to the Mindful Manifesting Success Roadmap. Phase 1 is pushing and forcing using willpower or being stuck in status quo. And then phase 2 is frustrated and frantic, taking random action and not succeeding. Phase 3 is letting go of control. And this is where, might I say, we've got a little surrender going on, necessary as that is. Phase 4, manifestation momentum, clearing the blocks to receiving. Phase 5, inspired action and results, manifesting with grace and ease. Now, I don't know about you, but I think I want to live in phase 5, inspired action and results, and that feeling of manifesting with grace and ease. We're going to go into more detail of each phase. I'll have a podcast for each one, but I want to give you an overview of the journey. So we're at a time on the planet where we are recognizing that our way of getting things done is hurting not only ourselves, but the planet. It's almost like we were trained to have blinders and to not pay attention to those moments of, oh, this isn't feeling good. Ooh, that conversation, my stomach's turning over. And we just ignore it and we just muscle through. Especially people who are driven, they're determined, maybe they want to bring something big to the world, or that they have a high spiritual path and they have realized that the world is definitely off track and not supporting spirituality and seems to be focused on material, ambitions. So wherever you find yourself on that journey, you might either go along and just accept there's nothing you can do, this is the way the world is, or you are pushing and forcing yourself to make changes in your life. And if you're doing that from a type A personality versus a type B, which is more passive, my goodness, we need both, then what can happen is you can start to get health issues. You can start to break down relationships because you've got such a strong sense of leadership and you know this is the way. Or you become passive and you end up living a life that doesn't feel like yours. So recognizing where you are in your manifesting journey, because we are manifesting every day, whether we are conscious of it or not, our thoughts are sending signals out there. And then we're responding emotionally to what's coming back from life. And if it's a wonderful manifestation, then we're in gratitude and we're in joy. But if we're in a negative manifesting mode, we'll talk more about these phases as I go through this, then we can get frustrated, we can get discouraged, we can give up. And that's the last thing that I want for you. I want you to be so inspired in that phase 5, which is inspired action and results, manifesting with grace and ease, so that you become a lighthouse, a role model, something or someone who reflects brilliance. And that doesn't mean you have to be like super genius, but there's an authenticity and your light is shining, beaming out its brilliance and its warmth. You just find yourself, your heart's open, you're smiling, and that is a way that indicates we're on track. Looking at your mindful manifesting success roadmap is just checking in. How are you feeling? Are you on track? Are you listening to your intuition? We should be listening to ourselves. We should be having that brilliant, beautiful confidence and growing ourselves, and start to notice your manifestations. Are you nurturing them? Are you, your intentions, are you giving them enough attention, watering? Are you focusing on where you're going? So mindful manifesting success roadmap is just knowing where you are on the journey. And I'm going to recap the different phases. And again, I'm going to be doing one on every single phase so you can start to recognize where you're at. And I'll give you some action tips and some suggestions to develop yourself and further your progress on the mindful manifesting success roadmap. So phase 1, remember, pushing and forcing, using willpower or stuck in status quo. Phase 2, frustrated and frantic, taking random action and not succeeding. Phase 2, letting go of control. Phase 4, manifestation momentum and clearing blocks to receiving. Phase 5, where we all want to be, inspired action and results, manifesting with grace and ease. So as we start to wrap this up, I'd like to give you a little action tip. Take a moment and write down what are your intentions. You could do it just for the day, you can do it for the month, you can do it for the quarter, however it works for you. And I'd like you to get yourself in that place of expansiveness. Your heart is open. You have a feeling that anything is possible. You're not reflecting on past disappointments or failures. You are literally imagining infinite possibilities and your future. This is a wonderful, heart expansive exercise, which is definitely Leo, which is so cool that we're at this time and we're having this conversation. By the way, you can get a future possibilities wish list to help you with that little exercise I just started to talk about. And if you'd like to create future possibilities without force or frustration, you can get your free guide at highertrueself.com/freebies, and I'll put the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for believing enough in yourself and who you are to grow yourself. Expand your consciousness, elevate your manifesting capacities. As you remember, self-confirmation frees you to succeed on your terms. Ariana Rollins with Mindful Manifesting Podcast. Thanks for listening.